Good morning, everyone. Yes, I take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you, the local member of Nairobi and one of the members of Finding Off. Feel welcomed. Feel at the feet of Jesus as we are on with our camp meeting. Yes, I will try to raise up my voice. And whenever I speak slow, you can signal me. Sometimes I can forget. Yeah. So for those who don't know me, I'm Gladys Moranyangito, a member of Nairobi Fellowship. Yeah, so as I have already said, feel welcomed. I'm going to share a common topic. So I welcome you all, give your understanding. You can also give your ideas, your thoughts on all that we are going to share. I've been given an opportunity to share with you 3 presentations. So I hope all shall be well, together with other speakers. So with those few remarks, I could like us, we bow down for a word of prayer, if you are able. Our dear Lord in heaven, we thank you so much for this morning. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the way you have led us as a movement and also as individual, for the light that you have shown unto us, the midnight cry. Help us, O Lord, that as we share these truths, even in this camp meeting, that we can always have a clear understanding of who you are and understanding of your character. Be with us on this session as we begin until the end of it all. In Jesus' name I pray. So I've chosen the topic of considering the Sunday Row Waymark. And in my presentations, I want us to review our understanding of the studies that have been done in the movement recently, because I'm going to review our understanding, how we moved from marking the mark of the Sunday Row from the row itself to saying that the mark of the Sunday Row is an erection. So my topic is about the Sunday Row. The Sunday Row Waymark. So we're only going to review our understanding where we're saying now it's an erection and not a law. And I have some around 4 to 5 points that we are going to discuss, that we are going to share our ideas of our understanding, how we moved that Waymark from being a law itself to an erection. So as we all know, the Sunday law, that statement, we get it from Ellen G. White. Ellen G. White gives us this great controversy line. She gives us the time of the end, which is 1798. And then she gives us the Sunday Row, the COP, and the Second Advent. If you happen to ask in Advent, even those ones who are in the GC, they know of this line. They will talk of Ellen G. White, and then they will say we're still waiting for the Sunday Row. So as the line of 144,000, we went to this reform line, the great controversy line, and through parable methodology, we have a time of the end, which we call 1989. And it is 2001. So I've said, according to Ellen White, she says that this marker E of the Sunday row is Sunday, Sabbath, controversy. That the mark of the beast is that Sunday worship, and the seal of God is what? Sabbath worship. That's what she said. So us, as the reign of 144,000, is my voice still low? Penta, you can hear? Oh, thank you. Hema, you're saying? I erase it. Okay, I will try my best. So I'm saying that from this understanding, we had what we call the midnight cry in 2018 and 2019, midnight cry in the year of 2018, 2019, Edgar Tess gave us a new understanding. Know that this Waymark is not going to be about Sunday row. There isn't going to be a controversy, but what's going to happen, there will be, the test is all about gender. Gender what? Equality. That's what she gave us, or what we understood as a movement. And still, we understood that, yeah, it's going to be about gender equality, and we expected what you call a law. There is going to be a certain law that is going to oppress people, and then we shall mark that as a Sunday law. So we still further went understanding that midnight cry through many studies, especially the book of Acts 27, if I remember well, and all of us, we remember that at this Waymark, now we are talking of Acts 27. We talked about the two ships, the ship of Alexandria, the ship of Adramyttia. So we said that at this Waymark, what you are going to see is there is a kingdom that's going to fall. And if you say this, which kingdom? You can shout. Which one? Which? Yeah, the sixth kingdom was supposed to, it's going to fall. The sixth kingdom, or it's going to shipwreck, according to the ship of Adramyttia. We say that the Waymark from Paniam to Sandiro, we're going to see the progressive fall of one kingdom, and then there starts progressive rise of another kingdom. And then still we say that we're going to see the seventh kingdom doing what? Coming to power, doing what? Rising, yeah, thank you. So the seventh kingdom, we're going to see it rising to power, and then the sixth kingdom is going to fall. So after understanding all that, we didn't even understand how the seventh kingdom was going to rise to power. We were just only saying that according to this ship, from the Waymark of Paniam to the Waymark of Sandiro, we're going to see, we used to draw like this. And this is Paniam. That as this ship of Adramyttia was traveling from the Waymark of, I think, Cyrus, all the way to Myra, there was that Waymark of Cilician Pambyria, whereby we say it is an overturning of many nations, isn't it? And we say that the sixth kingdom is going to fall progressively. And then what is going to rise is the seventh. And then now coming to this year, I think either this year or late from the Waymark of the Sunday row from July 18th, we have come to say, yeah, it's not just saying 70 is going to rise, but we understood that that marker is going to be about what? What's going to mark that now we have left the rising of the 7th and the 4th of the 6th? Judy? Yes, thank you so much. That's that mark of a new kingdom coming to power. We're going to see an erection, sorry for that, an erection. So that kept on challenging our understanding, and through God's hand, we have gone back to the books of Daniel and the Revelation, but especially the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and also Revelation chapter 17, isn't it? Am I correct? Are we together? So in this book of Revelation 13 and 17, most of the things I'm going to paraphrase because we understand these things, as I know you are students of Bible prophecy, that when we look in this book of Revelation and 17, they're one book. They're speaking of one subject, isn't it? And what was common about this book, or what is common? You can shout, Steve. Why do we say that the book of Revelation is 17 and 1? What makes us say that? Yes, Steve. Ah, there is another Steve. Oh, I'm looking at the beast. Yes. Has done what? It is the same beast. Okay. Anybody else wanting to add some little information? Yeah, thank you. So we are all familiar that why we say that Revelation 13 and 17, they're one, it is that beast. Let me just say the word beast, which has what, 7 heads? And how many horns? 10 horns. And then we say in Revelation 17, we can see we have crowns on the horns, but on Revelation 17, we don't have crowns, isn't it? There is the name of blasphemy and all those titles, you know them. So according to my study, when John is standing in 1798, if it is John, according to Revelation 13, he's standing on the sand of sea, and when he looks back or past, he sees a sea beast. There is this sea beast, and when he looks future, he sees what? Heart beast. There is an heart beast. So in 13:11, it says that, and I behold another beast coming out of the heart, and it has 2 horns like a lamb, and which spark as what? A dragon. So I remember some time back we used to struggle so much about that verse. And then when you go to Ellen G. White, she can easily tell you or trick you that that's one beast, that's one kingdom, which will begin as a lamb-like, and later will do what? Speak as a dragon, isn't it? But now when we understand Revelation 17, I'm just going to paraphrase these verses. When you look Revelation 17, John is taken into the wilderness. He sees a woman lighting up what? A beast. The same beast of 7 heads and then horns. And then when John is wondering about that beast, about the woman, that war, the angel comes to explain. And he tells John that, why are you wondering? The beast that you are seeing, the 7 heads are equal to what? 7 heads is equal to 7 mountains. That is Revelation 17 verse 9, isn't it? I'm just going to paraphrase. You can open and confirm. And then in verse 10, he says that these are the kings. So we say the 7 heads, these are the 7 kings. And then he says that the first 5 are foreign, one is, and another one is yet to do what? To come. So what I want to get from there, so that I can line with my topic, is that Revelation 17, while Revelation 13, because my focus maybe at this time moments about the 6th and the 7th kingdom, it has given us just like one feast, a lamb-like feast with 2 horns, which will later speak like a dragon. But when you read Revelation 17, you can see a sequence. Now we see a sequence. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now Revelation 17 is giving us that these kingdoms are 7. You can see them. 5 have already fallen, 1 is there, and another one is yet to do what? To come into power. So it has given us some clue that Revelation is speaking only one piece, but we can see now there are 7. We can have 7. That at the end of it all, if this was the beginning, and we call this the end of the world, and if we understand that this is the work of the devil, Satan's kingdoms, is that Satan is going to do a work. He tries kingdom number 1, it fails, and then he goes to kingdom number 2, number 3 onwards, until at the end of the world, where we are living, we see we have the 7th what? Kingdom. So, and then if we have the 7th kingdom, and we are seeing it's like a work of progression, isn't it? We can call it progression. That's what we call it. There is progression work of the devil. And number 7, because symbols have got meaning, number 7 is a symbol of God, Shadrach. Yeah, thank you. So this is completion. 7, this is completion. Or perfection. That at the end of it all, by number 7, the devil must be at perfection, must have completed his mission, or is completing perfection. Now, as we have understood, we take that as a theme of the Revelation what? 17. That the theme of the Revelation 17 is perfection of what? Satan's kingdom. And now, we really want to understand more about this kingdom, because our worry is understanding how do we mark this Waymark. If this is perfection of Satan's kingdom, what about the beginning? So we're going to ask Isaiah. Isaiah is going to help us. So we go to Isaiah 46. I don't know how to use my board, but I will try my best. So if this is the end, at the beginning, sorry for that. That's the beginning, and this is the end. If you want to understand the end, where do you go? You have to go to the beginning, isn't it? And now that we have done analysis of Revelation 17, I think maybe a speaker will do the analysis, all those steps, another one. And we have seen Revelation 17 at the end of the world. If this is Revelation 17, the theme is about perfection. Let me pick the word perfection of Satan's kingdom. And what we are seeing is that it's like there is a rise and fall of kingdom. Babylon came in place, it had to fall down. Medo-Persia, it was in the best kingdom, falling again. The next is what? Greece. and then Lom. And then now we come all the way to the 5th, 6th, and now we are number 7. So with this theme of perfection, we can also see what we call power struggle. The devil, Satan, is trying to look for the best kingdom or the best candidate, as you all know, that is going to accomplish the work. It's a power struggle. So for us to understand the beginning, now that we have a team, this is the team. This is the team that we have. It's about perfection. We need something that we are to hook our story. We need an hook, isn't it? That's what we have come to understand. That you need what? An hook. That's going to help you understand this point number 1. Maybe it's going to give you some green light on understanding how kingdoms are rising, how kingdoms are coming to power. So for us to get an hook, we still interrogate that book of Revelation 17. And we see that when John is given this, when John is in the wilderness, he's given all this vision. There is this woman lighting a feast. And there is a description, if I may read the verse, of that woman. You can open with me Revelation 17. So I think verse 1 and 2, I'm not going to read. Verse 3, John is being carried in the wilderness. He sees this war, and the dressing is being described. The beast has been described, 7 heads, and then horns. And verse 4, it's trying to describe what the woman is looking like. It's arrayed in purple, all the colors that are there. And then verse 17, this woman, in her forehead, there is a name written there, which is what? Can all we shout? What's the name of the woman? The war? Mystery Papron. So we can have that as our hook. We have mystery, Babylon. So this kingdom is about our mystery Papron, and we want to understand this kingdom. So, and we understand William Mira's rules, that every word must have what? Rule number 1. Someone may paraphrase it. What does Nyamweya? Nyamweya paraphrase for us rule 1. Okay, there are 2 Nyamweyas, there are 2 Steves. Okay, Steve Nyamweya. Rule 1, yes. How they relate? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And it also depends on the subject of your study. Yeah. So according to my study, I can see mystery Papron. It says that mystery Papron, the great, and then the other description, the mother, and all those things. So according to my story, we have now 2 things that we want to carry to where? To the beginning, isn't it? So we have a team. Satan wants to perfect the kingdom. And now we have a hook that we want to take to the beginning. And which book do we go? Where do we go to look for understanding these things? Daniel, because Daniel and Revelation are what? One book. It's like a hand and a glove. They help each other. So we go back to this beginning of ours, if this is point 1, and this is number 3, going back, for us to understand this theme of ours, which is perfection, we have power and rise of kingdoms. we have now, there is that power struggle. We got the book of Daniel. And I know you all understand, we can't go to Daniel chapter 1 because we see there Nebuchadnezzar is going to conquer the land of Judea and just taking the captives, Daniel, isn't it? So there is no much rising and falling. It's just a conquer and taking people captive. So we go to Daniel chapter 2. When we look at Daniel chapter 2, you all of us who have read that chapter. It's all about this dream of Nebuchadnezzar, isn't it? Joy, is that the case? Nebuchadnezzar is having a dream, and he's wondering about all those things. He's in bed, he's seeing a great statue, and then he calls out the people to give interpretation, but none of them is able. His government officials have failed, but there is one Hebrew boy by the name Daniel who was able to do what? To give an interpretation. And you know all the interpretation of Daniel chapter 2. Daniel is going to tell Nebuchadnezzar about the dream, that all that image that you saw, it's all about kingdoms. That there is your kingdom is Babylon, it's going to fall. Another inferior kingdom is going to come to power, which is Medo-Persia, and another one. And by the end we reach Hion, we see that, yeah, the Medos, we say the Medos are decreasing in what and increasing in what? Someone to, sorry? May Josephine, yeah, Teras. Yes. Oh, so there is Faru and there is strength. So what is decreasing? Faru. Yeah, because you can't compare gold and silver and even brass and clay and all those things. But the strength is doing what? Increasing. So by the end of the fourth kingdom, these kingdoms they have more strength, but they are of less value. So according to our team, if we are looking for perfection, power struggle, and also rise and fall of kingdom, and the last kingdom in Daniel chapter 2 is the fourth kingdom. Has the devil reached perfection? Snyder. If we are in kingdom number 4, can the devil say that I've really reached perfection? No. He still has a work to do because he has not reached perfection. So we are going to take these characteristics and put them here and see whether we can pick it. So perfection, it's lacking. There is no perfection. But we can see rise and fall. There is that power struggle. Rise and fall of kingdom is there. Now that we don't have that perfection, and it was quite our team, we are now asked to move to maybe another kingdom, another chapter. So when we go to Daniel chapter 3, after now Daniel giving the interpretation of the theme of the story of the dream, in the mind of Nebuchadnezzar, he says no. Even if it's not going to say in words, we say actions do what? Action speaks louder than what? Words. So Nebuchadnezzar is going to set a great image in Dura, and is going to paint this great image in one color. What was the color? Pure gold, isn't it? So in chapter 3, we see a great image of pure gold. So Nebuchadnezzar is denying about all this prophecy. of his kingdom won't fall. He wants to perfect his kingdom. So once he does that, so there is that struggle. There is that power struggle. So we can see that for perfection, in case if you have a question, you can note it down so that we can discuss during Q&A or a comment. I hope we shall get time. So perfection, there is an attempt of perfection. We can think that. There is a power struggle between who and who? Nebuchadnezzar is fighting within his own kingdom. In internal work, Nebuchadnezzar versus the government officials, if I may say so. So Nebuchadnezzar versus who? These three Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and who? Abednego. Let me call them government officials. You can name them, government officials. We all understand that the story from chapter 1 onwards, when they were being taken captives, Daniel was changed the name to, was it to Belshazzar, and then Shadrach, and all those. I know you know the names. I don't want to go into the finer details. So, yeah, as for the friends of Daniel being the Hebrew people, officially now they are in this government of Nebuchadnezzar, and they are in the Babylonian government, and now they have been promoted because of the work they did in chapter 2, and how faithful they were in chapter 1. Now they've been promoted, they are civil servants, they are working in the same government with Nebuchadnezzar. And now Satan is using Nebuchadnezzar to perfect his work. He's using Nebuchadnezzar to cast off the rebels, if I may call the criminals, isn't it? Because these criminals are not obedient, he has given instructions to light the fire, heat it up to 7 times, which is also a theme of our book from Revelation. So the fire has been heated 7 times, and then they are going to be thrown into that fiery furnace, but God is going to rescue them. So what we see in Daniel chapter 3, we can see perfection, we can see power struggle, but we can't see rise and fall of kingdoms. This one is lacking because it's just one kingdom. There is no rise and fall. Nebuchadnezzar wants to have one kingdom. Yes, perfection. Okay, I've said in the point of perfection, Nebuchadnezzar is against the interpretation of the dream. Maybe someone from class can interject. He wants his kingdom to stand forever. And that's why he's painting that image with pure gold. He's like denying this interpretation of the dream of Daniel. He wants his kingdom to be this perfect kingdom and to stay forever. That's according the way I've understood perfection. And another point is trying to cast away the rebels, these people who are against the kingdom, because he wants them to obey him, whatever he's commanding. He wants them to worship this great image that has been set. But what we see, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they are going to worship their true God. So that's the perfection I'm talking about. Is that right for you? Okay, thank you. So we don't see rise and fall of kingdoms. So we still go back to our structure. Isaiah is going to tell us that if you are standing in this point, if I call this point 2, this was the beginning, this was the end. So I call this the present, isn't it? If you are standing at the present, and we want to understand this number 3 from number 1, now we have a problem, because number 1, we say is too far from number 3, isn't it? So we say this number 1 the beginning is too far. This one is too far. You can't see clearly. You can take the characteristics, but you cannot be able to see clearly. The reason is, the time period of Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel, that society has really changed so much from the society that we are living at the end of the world. So we say number one, yeah, it's supposed to interpret number 3, but it has a limitation. And this limitation is that number 3 is too far from number 1. So what do we do? We have someone who is closer. This number 2 is closer to number what? To number 3. And now we nickname this person here as what? A translator. Because when you are too far, there is a language barrier. There is this language barrier because of the distance. Number 1 and 3 is far from number 1. Now we have a language barrier. We need someone who is going to interpret. We can also call number 2 as an interpreter. This number 2, there is nothing unique it's going to interpret. It's going to take the characteristics of number 1 and put them at the current situation so that he can be able to interpret for number 3 to understand what's currently doing what? Happening. Because things here, there are some similarities, yes, but there must be some differences. So I could like us to read a quote, because our struggle is to understand how the rise and fall of kingdom is an evidence of rise and fall of what? Is an evidence that we are going to use as the mark of the Sunday law, isn't it? And we have seen that number 1 is too far, number 2 is a bit close. So I could like us, we read a quote, great controversy. Quote at 9. So we're going to read TC 439.4. Hope so. Where is the quote? Yeah, 0.52, page 441.1. We can open that quote for us to understand. .5. There is no, is only 439 point or praying. Okay, let me see my gadget. Paragraph 3.3, there is no 5. Sorry for that. This is 0.3. So who is going to read for us loudly for the sake of, or I read? Okay, I think I can read for the sake of zooming in. So I'm reading Great Controversy, 439.3. I may skip some words, but I'm going to read most part of it. At this point, I think from the previous paragraph, you can read at your own. It's a description of the sea beast. That's verse 13, verse 1 to 10. And now Helen White is telling us, at this point, another symbol is introduced, says the prophet, I beheld another beast coming up out of the heart, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. That is verse 11. Both the appearance of this beast and the manner of its lies indicate that the nation which it represents is unlike those presented under the preceding symbols. The great kingdoms that have ruled the world were presented to the prophet Daniel as beasts of prey, racing when the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. An angel explained that waters represent all those. So up to that point, I could like us we analyze the quote. Ellen White is giving us that there is an appearance of another beast. So can I wrap? Or I use the small space? Okay. I still wait? Okay. Okay. So basically, when we are going to read the entire of that quote, but what Ellen G. White is dealing with is the transition between the first 5 beasts and then the lacing up of the beast out of the heart. So I'm going to draw here so that we can bring the comparisons. So according to this quote, we have the first to the fifth beast, and then we have the, let me call it the 6th beast and 7th. So in that quote, Ellen says that G. White, or the spirit of inspiration, says that the great kingdoms that have ruled the world were presented to the prophet Daniel as beasts of prey. So beast number 1 to 5, according to this quote, they're being referred as beasts of what? Prey. Lacing up when the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. From Daniel chapter 7, verse 2. According to that verse, when Daniel was in a vision, he saw the four winds, and then there was the rising up of the 4 beasts, the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the dreaded beast. So they rise up because of the 4 winds of heaven strove upon the great. There is winds. I don't want to explain. An angel explained that the waters represent the people, multitude, and nation and tongues. Winds are a symbol of what? Winds is equal to strife. And they are striving upon the great seas, representing terrible scenes of conquest and what? Revolutions. So we have strife, conquest. We have also what? Revolutions. By which kingdoms have attained to what? To power. So for this kingdom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are being referred as beasts of prey. They come in praise because of the 4 winds striving upon the sea, and the sea is a symbol of multitude and people, and they are coming to power because of strife, conquest, and what? Revolution. So in short, this is all about war. This is about war. These kingdoms are being established because there is a war, there is a fight. But that's the paragraph. I hope you are all there. That's 440.1. Tuko hapo pamoja? Are we all there? Or am I alone? We are together. Sorry? We're there? Okay, thank you, Snyder. But the beast with lamb-like horns was seen coming up out of the hut. Instead of overthrowing, there is instead of overthrowing, the other powers to establish itself, the nation thus represented must lie in a territory previous and occupied, and grow up gradually and peacefully. It could not then arise among the crowded and struggling nationalities of the whole world. So this is the whole world. And this is the new world. Where was I? Among the crowded and struggling nationalities of the whole world, that apparent seas of peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, it must be sought in the Western continent. And then there is, I'm going to skip because of time. I'm going to read 441.1. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb that pierced out of the heart. The lamb-like horns indicate youth, innocence, and what? Gentleness. Fitly representing the character of the United States when presented to the prophet as coming up in 1798. Among the Christian exiles who first fled to America and sought an asylum from loyal oppression and priestly intolerance, were many who determined to establish a government upon the broad principles, upon the broad foundation of civil and religious liberty. Their views found place in the Declaration of Independence, which sets forth the great truth that all men are created equal and endowed with inalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And the Constitution guarantees to the people the right of self-government, providing the representative elected by the popular vote shall enact and administer the laws. Ellen G. White is going to describe how this kingdom out of the heart lost power, its characteristics. I don't want to write all of them. It was running out of the royal oppression, the priestly intolerance, and it really wanted its civil and the religious liberty. And then it says, and the Constitution guarantees to the people the right of self-government, provided representatives, those people are going to maybe to be in the government. We call them representatives of the people, be it the president, be it the senator, be it the governors. They are going to be done what? Elected. By the popular vote, through voting. And they shall enact and administer the laws. Freedom of religious faith was also granted, every man being permitted and all those. So according to our paragraph, it has really helped us to see that the first kingdoms of Bible prophecy, number 1 to 5, they rose to power through conquest and revolutions or through wars. But now the sixth, the kingdom of out of the heart, that piece out of the heart, as John says in Revelation 13:11, it comes to power through the election or through a vote. People are going to have a vote to elect the government. Now at least we have a clue that the sixth kingdom rose to power through what? Through an erection. So where we still go to William's rules so that we can understand the seventh kingdom. So we're going to use the known. If you want to know the unknown, what do? You go to the known so that he can be able to interpret for you, isn't it? Because after all, these people or these kingdoms are coming from one geographical what? Area. Because they are, John is seeing them, they're rising up from the heart. And when he looks back, he saws the prey beast, they were rising out of the sea. So because they say birds of the same feather, they can flock together. I don't know whether it's applicable. So we have the known versus the unknown. What's the known kingdom that we have in our story? That is going to, the unknown is the seventh. We have the known, which is the seventh kingdom. That we didn't understand how it came to power. What was the known kingdom? The sixth is the known. And both these, we're going to do what? Just a position. So we bring these kingdoms because they're of the same. We just position them so that it can help us understand the seventh. So we have already let the quote that the sixth kingdom is going to rise to power through what? Erection. The seventh kingdom is going to do the same or different. The same is going to come to power through an erection. Because when John was being described the fifth kingdom in the Revelation 13, verse 10, it says, verse 10, yeah, it says that, see it verse 10, where it says that the one who lives with the sword dies with the sword. Which verse is that? Verse 13:10, he that readeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So like for example, the fifth kingdom had to lead others to captivity. The fifth kingdom was to be led into captivity, had to kill others with the sword. He had also to face the same consequence. What goes around does what comes around. So the fifth kingdom rose to power through an erection. Is going to do what again? To fall down through an erection. So if the sixth kingdom rose to power from 1798 through an erection, according to our story, by the Waymark of the Sunday rule, this same sixth kingdom is going to fall down through what? An erection. The same case, I believe so, the seventh has come to power through an erection. It's going to fall through an erection. So I can see an hand. Okay. How many minutes do we have? We have like 9 minutes. Okay. Is there anybody from the class who understood the code? Someone can explain or I repeat? Joy. You haven't? Or you have the same question? Yes. So the question is how the sixth kingdom rose to power through an erection. Okay. Anyone else? We can take it to Q&A. Is that okay? We got enough time so that we can read the quote, we can internalize, so that we can come together and sit down and share our thoughts and views. How did the sixth kingdom come to power through an election? And how it did fall down through an election? Can we take that to Q&A? Because I don't want to rush to an answer, and that's the current understanding that we really want to understand at the end of the camp meeting. Maran, iko sawa? Yes. I think you understand the word iko sawa. They are saying we take the question to Q&A so that we reach the quote. Oh, you have something to say. Oh, you had an hand. Okay. Etapo, we take it to Q&A. Okay. Another question? So the one who's writing the question, have you got the question? Okay, thank you so much. So I'm supposed to finish at what time? So I have like another 15 minutes. So having said that, according to my first story, that for us to, we are trying to review the mark of the Sunday law, where we're saying it's an erection and why it's not a law. And we have gone through the rise and fall of kingdoms, and we have used the book of Revelation 13. I've just only paraphrased the verses. I didn't go to read them into the finer details because I believe we all understand. And we have taken verses from the book of Revelation 17. We have seen that John is giving us that just a one kingdom, a piece out of the heart. But now Revelation 17 is going to give us the chronological order of these kingdoms, 1, 2, 3, up to number 7. And we have analyzed from those. I've gone through the entire story. We have gone to Daniel chapter 2, Daniel chapter 3. I don't want to go to that. We are trying to understand the rise and fall of kingdoms. So I've just remembered, I've not finished my statement here. So the rise and fall of kingdoms, when we are here at number 2, which is the present, which is supposed to give us an interpretation of Revelation 17, we see what? The kingdoms in place where we are currently, they're coming, the kingdoms are rising to power through and what? An erection. So that's why, number 1, it yet that in a period or the circumstances were not able to show us how number 3 was going to look exactly. But number 2, as an interpreter or a translator, as really helped us to see that the kingdoms in power in the current history where we are, they're going to come to power through what? An erection. So up to that, I move to the next point that I had, if there is another question. Yes. Number 2 is going to be the same. Number 1. How is it going to interpret number 1 and yet you can't see rise and fall of nation, and you are going to see number 2 rise and fall of all of the kingdoms. Okay. I'm going to paraphrase. If I misquote you, you say, isn't it? She's asking, I said that in number 1, we didn't see rise and fall of kingdoms. I was taking Daniel chapter 3 as my number 1, where we didn't see rise and fall of kingdoms. And I say, and she's saying that I'm saying the present, there is rise and fall of kingdoms, which is going to help us interpret that what's going to happen in the near future rise and fall of kingdoms is going to happen through an erection. How is that?
How can you say that? Number one, you can't see rise and fall of nation. Or kingdom.
Okay. Yes. Can we take that key and there, or I just explain my thoughts and you say whether that's okay? So according to my understanding, when I was trying to just quote Daniel chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar has made us this golden image. It's pure gold, isn't it? There is no another kingdom that is in his mind that is going to fight against him. There is no rise and fall of kingdom in Daniel chapter 3. You can't see that. Can you see that? Can you see there is a kingdom, there is a power struggle between kingdom A and P in Daniel chapter 3? There is a power struggle, but do we see rise and fall? Is there one kingdom falling, another one taking to power? There is no kingdom, isn't it? Yes. So that's why I said in number one, because we put number one, number three at number one at the beginning, because we wanted to understand Revelation 17, how the rise and fall of kingdom is going to happen. And then in number one, we can't see rise and fall of kingdoms because it's just one kingdom that Nebuchadnezzar is going to make. He's going to erect an image of pure gold. There is no rise and, but there is a power struggle. Nebuchadnezzar is fighting within his own government, between the government officials who are these, the three proofs who have been changed, but there is no rise and fall. Now, when you come to the end of the word, if you want to see rise and fall of kingdoms, you need an interpreter or a translator to give you that. And we said number two, according to the structure of Isaiah 46:10, becomes our interpreter. And our interpreter is none else apart from the present where we are, in history. In history where we are, if it is 2024, how do you see a kingdom coming to power and another one falling? Today you go and do a fight. What do? They do an erection, isn't it? Isn't it that what we see in history? If government wants to come in place, if Ruto wanted to take the government from Kenyatta, he had to go through an erection. So number two is going to interpret for us that currently it's not about war. It's not going to be about revolutions or conquest. It's going to be something what we call an erection. That's why I said that rise and fall of kingdoms you can't see in number one, but in number two you can see rise and fall of kingdoms presently where you are. So it's able to interpret for you that in the near future or where you are standing, kingdoms are going to come into place through an erection. Have I answered your question? Yes. Sabina, there is Steve. But Steve's his hand was fast. Okay, she has given you. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Up there. Number one is declaring the end.
Yes.
And the number one is about perfection.
Yeah.
Now, and as you say, number one is too far from number three.
Yes.
Cannot explain.
Number three. Yes.
So you need number.
Yes.
Number one. How comes the number two? There is rise and fall of nation, and now you will take that one as the theme. So you could explain number three, but using number one. And I think she's pushing the inconsistency.
Okay. So if you have understood, if you can answer. Okay. Then I'm not sure whether I understood you. Then we can answer it in Q&A. Yeah. I think someone else can be in a better position maybe to put in a clearer language than the one I understand from the class. Or as I will refreshen my wording. Steve, you had an hand. You ask a follow-up in that Q&A. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Naida.
But I just want to clarify, you to clarify from number 2. So in number 1, you have the word blue.
Yes.
And number 3 is elevation 17.
Yes. Oh, Daniel 2. Oh, Daniel, number 2, I didn't put in chapter. I just said it's a translator. Yes. Yes.
So I assumed you blessed Revelation 13.
Okay.
Because we are looking for Revelation 10.
Yes.
You have paragraph in number 2 to help us understand number 3.
Okay, yeah, I see your question. Okay, maybe you can also help me. I try to paraphrase. If we look at that quote of Ellen G. White, I think that's the time of the end. This is 1798, isn't it? This is the time of the end. Am I right? And according to that quote, Ellen G. White is going to explain to us that number 1 to 5, they came to power through war, revolution and conquest and all that. But the kingdoms out of the heart, this is the sea, and this is peace from the heart, which is number 6 and number 7. They come into place through election. The representative of the government are going to be chosen through an election. And then, according to this great, I can call it the great controversy line, if I may say so. Now we use parable methodology. We say that our new time of the end is 1989. And we're still in the time period of the art. So it is still our present. This kingdom out of the heart, there are 2 kingdoms. Kingdom number 6, lamb-like, and then number 7, the dragon. And I just positioned them, the 6 and the 7, because we are in the same time period of Ellen G. White. Although we are in a different dispensation, we see, to me, I see the 6 and the 7 coming to power through an election. But the point that I'm not clear, that if I can take that Revelation 13 verse 11 and put it here at present, maybe a class can come up with thoughts and ideas, because that's what I understand. Yes, okay. I think I've seen that through my explanation, unconsciously, I might have done that I've placed Revelation 13:11 at present. But I think we need more discussion about that. So I think my time is over. So have you captured the questions? So I have other points that I will be covering in the remaining 2 classes. Why the mark of the Sunday law, we say it's an erection and not a law. I hope time will allow me to cover the other, I think, 2 or 3 points Yeah. Thank you so much. We can close with a word of prayer. Our dear loving God, we thank you so much once again for this far you have read us, even in our discussion, that we want to understand more of the present of the kingdoms of the heart as they come to the end, and you set in a new kingdom that will not come to an end. Help us, O Lord, as we gather in this camp meeting, that all that we are going to discuss or that we are going to share, that we can be able to come in harmony and in an understanding, so that we can understand more of your character. Let your will always be done in our lives until the end of it all. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.